You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, well, how are you, Keith? What's going on, Budsy?
Doing good, man. We've been becoming best text friends.
Yeah, this is a long time coming, man. We met at a Lakers game and all fancy pants here, and it's been 3 months in the making. So we finally connect. I'm happy to be here, brother.
Yeah. Did you go to the Laker game rooting for the Lakers or the Knicks? Because I went for the Knicks.
I went for the, I go for the Knicks. When they play the Knicks, any other time I go for the Lakers. But yeah, I mean, I live in LA, but when they're playing the Knicks, I was born in New York, and that's just the way it is.
Well, here's what happened, because I opened up for Jay, and Jay always told me when Randall played for the Lakers, because Randall's my favorite player. He's like, we're going to go see Randall next week. And it just never happened. And then he got traded. And then when he went to the Knicks, he's like, well, do it when he's a Knick. I was like, all right.
He's good as a Knick.
Yeah. I think he's going to get traded, though.
Oh, great. Way to bring that up.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Randall's my favorite player, man.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, he's good. I like him.
So, yeah. I apologize. My trusty sidekick isn't here yet. Do you ever use a trusty sidekick on inside of you?
I have my buddy Ryan, who is my engineer, but also is there. And sometimes we have a little banter, and I love having him around. But yeah, I wouldn't say he's a sidekick, but you have a sidekick. What's his name? Lee?
Alan Lee. Yeah.
Alan Lee did not. In fact, I was trying to go earlier. And you're like, well, my sidekick here, he's not ready. He's not ready till 4, and now it's 4, and he's not even here.
I know.
Sidekick.
I know. In my defense, I feel you should just hate him and not me, because that was his fault.
Alan Lee, geez, side dick. Well, we're here. That's all that matters.
Yeah, man. But no, it's good to see you. You look good. You look healthy. I like your shirt.
Thanks, JFK to LAX shirt. Yeah.
Yeah. So, here's the thing. Like when I first met you, I had no idea. Like I knew you were in Sorority Boys and Bringing Down the House, but I didn't know you were in Smallville because you weren't bald.
Ah, yeah. I was bald.
You know what I mean?
7 years, Keith. 7 years. It was a special time, but yeah, I was bald in all those. In fact, in Bringing Down the House you speak of, I was bald in that, but I wore a bad wig in that. So if you watch the movie, you're like, why is his hair so weird? Because it's a wig. That's why. You never look good in a wig. I mean, some people do, but they weren't expensive wigs. You got to really put the money. Alan Lee, where the hell have you been?
Faster than a speeding bullet. Hold on. Faster than a speeding bullet. But not as powerful as a limp dick at a gay party.
Oh my God.
Well, that's better than nothing.
Alan Lee comes in strong. He comes in strong.
It was so great because we changed you, Alan, from the sidekick to the side dick.
Lantern t-shirt and all that, all perfect, But hey, I love superheroes, but there's just no Captain Israel and no Captain Africa yet.
I'm not a
Captain America.
I'm a super villain, Alan.
Luther, Lex.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there you go. That's right. Why are you so late today, Alan?
Yeah, tell us, Alan. Michael wanted to start at 3:30.
I have a day job because I have a buffet addiction, and I got to feed it. Get it, feed, buffet addiction. What the fuck?
Nice.
Hey, glad to meet you, sir.
Glad to meet you.
Yeah. We were just talking how me and Michael know each other. We know each other from a Lakers game.
Oh,
that's correct. We met at a Lakers game. We sat next to each other, and it was a good time. Keith was a nice guy, and we hit it off. And here I am 3 months later doing this podcast.
Beautiful. And I got rejected by Haley.
Oh yeah, I thought you were gonna. Is that what her name was?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was cute. The girl sitting next to you. Well, how did she reject you?
Okay, because we switched Instagrams, right? And then we said, okay, goodbye. And then I I'm so insecure. I have this app on my phone called Unfollowed. So like when people unfollow you on Twitter or Instagram, it like gives you a notification. Like, hey, look who unfollowed you, and like makes me sad. I don't know. So
Why do you do that? Wait. Why do you do that to yourself? And here's scary. What's scary is I unfollow people sometimes because I'm tired of seeing their happy shit. I'm like going, oh no, now they can tell that I unfollowed them.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh no, I'm screwed.
Well, it's just me because I'm insecure. You know what I mean? Like I'm an insecure guy, and so I'm walking to get my car, and then I get a notification saying, "Oh, Haley unfollowed you." I was like, "Great."
Oh god, she unfollowed you. Well, I mean, she just followed you.
I know.
What a bitch.
totally.
I mean, you know, Keith was nice. They were just chatting the whole game. And at the end, she follows him. Oh, I'll follow you on Instagram. Yeah, I'll follow you too. And then unfollowed.
Yeah. I think she found out I was a comedian on my Instagram, and she's like, "Oh God, I don't want to get involved in this."
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Comedians are messed up. Comedians are messed up. That's for sure.
Michael, you actually did a little stand-up before you were telling me, right?
Yeah, I was doing stand-up a couple of years ago. I did it for about a year, and then I just realized, hey, this is fun. And I think I could do it. And I have a lot of friends who are stand-up comedians who were telling me to do it. Then I realized, well, what do you want to do? I mean, do you really want to go on the road? Do you really want to do stand-up? I mean, this is something that you have to take seriously and do for years and years and years and years. And I don't think I was, I didn't want to put that much effort into it.
Yeah, but you have the same joy as singing because you're also in a band too.
Yeah, I got a band called Sunspin. You can go to sunspin.com and get our CD. We have a new CD we're almost finished with. And, a long time ago, well, not that long ago, but I realized recently in the last few years that just because you're not as good as someone else, or just because, it's usually you're intimidated. I'm scared that, hey, I'm not as good of a singer as Adam Lambert. Well, of course you aren't. I'm not as good as a musician as so-and-so. And then I realized, well, what does that matter? Do you love music?
Yeah.
Then make music. I love music, so make music. And that's what I'm doing now. I love it. I love I'm trying these, now that I'm almost 50, I want to start doing things that I love and doing it because I want to do it, not because I think other people want me to do it or, it makes them happy. Yeah. You got to make yourself happy.
Sweet.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that because I think when I started stand-up, I did it as a vehicle, obviously, to get into movies and stuff. But the longer I did stand-up, the more I fell in love with it and then the less interest I had in doing movies.
Yeah.
I think I'm very weird like that because I was brought up by Norm. So I did literally everything that he did, you know what I mean? And he hated television.
Good mentor.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then I wanted to ask you this because it's his birthday today, but you were a good friend of Saget's. How did you become friends with him?
I wouldn't say I was super close with him. It's one of those things where I hung out with him a few times, went to a concert together years ago. And every time we see each other, we have mutual friends, Jonathan Silverman, and always a big hug to Bob. And we just got along great. He was always so sweet to me. I said, hey, you want to come on the podcast? He's like, absolutely. Want to come on mine? Went on his podcast, and just a really lovable, sweet guy. And I didn't know him extremely well, but anybody who meets Bob instantly loves him.
Yeah.
And it was tragic. He died way too young. And he just made a lot of people happy, and it's sad. We lost we lose people all the time. And it's just what happens. This is life, man. It's so cliche, but we're here for a short time.
Very short.
And some of your friends are here for a shorter time.
That's true.
You do the best you can and make the most of each day. And, try to reach out to people that you like being around. Try to reach out to people that you love. Try to, because you don't know when you're going to talk to them again, or if you're going to talk to them again. It's a crazy thing, but it's unpredictable. So, it's tough.
Well, Saga was such a sweet guy because, on the food celebrity pool, let's be honest, I'm a D list. You know what I mean? I'm on the very bottom. Saget's on like the B or A list. You know what I mean? And when Norm died, Saget called me once a week just to see how I was doing. You know what I mean? So for him to take time out of his busy schedule, it was just amazing. Like,
Wow, he did that, huh?
yeah,
What a sweet guy.
yeah.
What a sweet guy.
So
I can't really hear Alan very well.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear that? I'm saying that was very nice. I agree.
Oh, there. Now I can hear you. Now I can hear you, Al.
You know what? I just didn't somewhere over the rainbow. Oh, pardon me if I sing. He just said to put your heart out. And
yeah.
I'm hurt.
Do what you love, Alan. Do what you love, brother. That's all I can tell you.
Okay, so Michael, you were telling me before Alan came in on Bringing Down the House, you were wearing a wig on that too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I was doing Smallville, and they wanted me to do this movie, and so they, in fact, Sorority Boys, this movie that I did that I loved, that kind of became a sort of a cult hit. I wore a bad wig in that. The director wanted me to have hair like him, like his hair, and it was terrible. His hair was terrible. So they gave me a terrible wig, and I wore that in Sorority Boys, and then Disney liked me in the movie, so they cast me in Bringing Down the House, and I had to wear another fucking bad wig. And, I just like, finally I was like, I'm not doing any more movies till Smallville's over. I just really was like, I hate how I look. I'm just like, I'm gonna wait till this is over and grow my hair out, and that's what I'll do.
Looks good now, bro.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, man. Well, I didn't comb it today. Thank God this is just audio.
Yeah, we just released the audio. Yeah. So Steve Martin, I'm sure you get it. Like, I try not to ask the same question. So, like, but it's hard because, I thought we were doing this a couple weeks from now. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
So if I ask the same questions and you don't want to answer, just hit the pass button. I totally understand.
You got it.
Steve Martin, I heard he's the nicest guy, and I heard he doesn't sign autographs, he gives cards. Did you ever get a Steve Martin card?
No, what's funny is when I was working with him, he always used to come in every day and go, tell me about this Smallville. With that Steve Martin voice. And we talk about Smallville, and we talk about other things. And the last day I brought in my jerk poster. And I said, did you sign this? And I was expecting him to say, no, but I'll give you this card that says, you met Steve Martin. And but he didn't. He signed my jerk poster. But that was the story that you'd bump into him on the street or whatever, and you'd say, "Can I have your autograph?" He goes, "No, but you could have this card." And the card said, "You met Steve Martin." And I thought that was really funny. But he didn't do that to me, so I thought that was something that he did probably for a little while because he thought it was funny, and it was.
Yeah, I always thought it would be cool to get a Steve Martin card versus an autograph, because you could always get an autograph still at Pink's or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But a card, that's
that's special. That's in other words, here's something that you got rejected by. You got rejected by Steve Martin. Here's a card, and you have a card to prove it. I like that. Yeah, I think I'd rather have a card too. I'd have to agree.
Yeah. And then Seniority Boys, which is one of the funniest movies of all time. I had two questions on that. One, I was wondering how much blocking went into that dildo fight scene.
Blocking?
They cut a lot of stuff out of the dildo scene in the Sorority Boys. We were on wires, flying around, fighting like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon shit. Yeah. We were doing all that stuff with dildos, and they cut a lot of it. So, but it was a blast. Barry Watson and I had fun doing it. We beat the hell out of each other with dildos. We loved it. It was my idea to make it where I'm trying to stick the dildo in his mouth. He's like, oh, and so we had a lot of fun, but the studio ultimately cut it. Just went on too long, and I'd like to see how that would have ended up on the cutting room floor. I would have liked to seen that stuff, but oh well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. And then the second is if you could, would you make a sequel to that?
Yes, we talked about it a couple of years back, and we got the producer Jason Reed, Harlan Williams, Barry Watson, myself, and Greg Coolidge, who wrote the first one. And I had this idea that what if my character's daughter goes to college and I don't trust guys, and so we dress up in drag and move into a house at the university, and we just follow her around and look at all the stuff, and like, all of a sudden, comedy ensues. So it did happen. We were hoping it would. We thought we could make it low budget, but no one ever pulled the trigger on it. So, but I love that movie. I think the reason I was considering doing a sequel was because I just never had that much fun in my life on a movie set. It was absolutely the most fun you could ever think of having. We were in drag every day. We were laughing all day. We would tons of pranks. I remember, we're at lunch and we're walking down the Disney in between buildings, and from afar you see these workers, these crew guys, and they're staring at us and looking at us because they think we're hot. And then they get close and then we're like, "Hey, how are you?" And they're like, "Oh my God." They just felt like such assholes. And, we just had so much fun. I love Harlan. He became one of my best friends in the world. We've traveled a lot together.
Yeah, I love Harlan. We had him on Reza Riffs, man.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a funny story because like we asked him like 6 or 7 times, and because we used to go to the Improv, just to get guests when we were first starting, and Harlan would always say, "No, I don't do podcasts," right? And then on the 6th time, he's like, "All right, I'll do it if you quit asking me." So I was like, "All right," so we did it. so we
you stop asking me, buddy.
Yeah. So we did it, and then after the interview, I swear to God, he turns to me and he's like, "I wish I would have said yes the first time." And I thought that was very sweet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a sweet guy. He's got a heart of gold, and he's adventurous, and he got me out of my comfort zone. He said, "Let's go to Burning Man." I go, "Nah, I'm not a burner. I'm not that guy. I'm not like hippie-ish. I'm not like, I don't think I'd fit in." And he kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And I went and I had the time of my life. He also said, "Let's go on a trip to a cruise down the Amazon." And I was like, no. And he got me to do it. We went. So
did he make you wrap around with a snake?
I'm surprised he didn't.
Because he was telling us that's what he does when he goes to the Amazon. He likes to get it. Like, what do you call it? Like a snake bath or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but he's a nut job. But he's daring, and he gets me out of my comfort zone. He's an adventurous guy.
And then I watched this movie the other day, which I think showed a totally different side of your acting skills, which I thought was phenomenal. It was called The Neighbor.
Oh, wow. You saw that? It was still independent.
Yeah, wow.
It was like a couple years old, a couple years ago. And it was one of these things. My friend Aaron Harvey was just like, "Hey, you want to do this movie? It's no money." And I'm like, "Yeah, I like the part. It's kind of a cool little movie." And I love Bill Fichtner, who's the lead in it. You've seen him in everything. The blind guy in Contact. He's been in a lot of Jerry Bruckheimer films. He's in Prison Break. He's been in everything. And so, it was one of those movies you drive yourself to set out an hour away, and you make no money, and you just work hard, and you have a little fun. And we made a cool little movie. And so I'm glad you saw that. It was definitely a darker role for me.
Yeah. And then, so I thought that was cool. And then, like, one of the perks of that movie is your wife is Sonya Blade from Mortal Kombat.
Is that true?
Yeah.
You didn't know that? Me?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So, like, what I'm saying is you could call her and say, "Hey, I want to be Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat 2. All right?
I'm sure she can make that decision. Yeah, I'll get right on that.
I'm just like jumping the gun here. Alan, you got any questions for Michael?
Well, I have this standard one with the whole acting process and the mystery of acting. It always amazes me that these days you have to look at a picture of a superhero, and it's just a 2-dimensional picture. We have all read comic books, and from that, a starting point can be somewhere in your imagination. How do you relate to a picture of a character? What's the first starting point?
Well, if you're talking about, like, for instance, like Lex Luthor, and I didn't read comics. I just didn't. I watched horror movies. So I'm really not the guy to ask that question to, because I didn't know anything about it other than this was the character. I love Gene Hackman in the movies. And I was like, well, I can't emulate him. I can't copy him. He was too kind of flamboyant and a little ridiculous. And I'm doing a TV show, so he's my favorite Lex Luthor. But I couldn't do that, and it couldn't. It wouldn't last. You know, 7 years of doing that character, you have to have an arc. And so for me, I just I really took things slow. I played the character as real as I could play him, learned my lines, hit my mark, and did the best I could. But you know, I've never read a comic book. I don't think ever. Maybe one in my life. Were you a big comic book guy?
Yes. In fact, I even collect figures. You can see over in the corner of this place. Well, you know what? That's not where I wanted you to see my Mickey.
The tour of Alan Lee.
Very strange.
Tour of Alan Lee.
Very strange, Michael. Very strange here. But yes, but an amazing feat, because you're being, you know, straight up about that, and you didn't read comic books. Great, and you know, maybe that's the key. That's one of the keys.
You know, I think that I didn't know too much about it, that I didn't put everything I had like weighing somewhat heavily on me. Like I have to be great. I have to do this. I didn't know anything. All I knew is I'm going to do it my way, and hopefully people will like it. By the way, I have a lot of dolls.
It worked out that way.
Yeah, I have a lot of dolls around my house. I have Han Solo I'm looking at.
Yay!
Jack Nicholson's the Joker. I have Gene Hackman doll, Hammerhead from Star Wars. The whole Justice League characters. I got tons of Funko Pops.
Wow.
I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd, Alan.
Check this out. Right behind you. Dennis Miller.
You have Dennis Miller.
Dennis Miller.
He has a Dennis Miller action figure.
The battery's out. He actually.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, the battery's
Get yourself a number 2 Ticonderoga pencil there, bud.
There you go.
My buddy does a great impression of him. I can't do one, but he used to do Dennis Miller constantly, and it made me laugh so hard. Old Dennis Miller.
So you also have a podcast, which I was saying, I think I was just telling you privately, I think like it's the best podcast. Like mine's number 2, you're number 1. You know what I mean?
It's classy.
You like the podcast?
I love it, dude. You have what, 200 episodes? I think I've listened to 70.
You are a machine, Keith.
Yeah.
You're a machine. Thank you. It started out, I'll be honest with you. It started out as people just, my producer was like, you should do a podcast. I'm like, why? He goes, you can make money and you have a good voice. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I realized I'm not making much money and nobody's listening.
Right.
So then I started to just be more vulnerable, sort of share my feelings, share my thoughts, talk to people candidly and open. And I think I talked about my dysfunction. They would open up about theirs. And ultimately it became something, almost like, talking about mental health with people and with actors, and they open up. And, Stephen Amell, who played Arrow, he had an anxiety attack on the podcast, and it just became something really cool that people gravitated towards. And it's, it's slowly becoming more successful, but believe me, it's taking a lot of time to get that built-in audience, to get people to really stay there, because a lot of times people will come for the guest and then they leave. And
that was the one thing I really like about yours is like before every episode, or at least 90% that I've listened to, you say, listen, if you're a fan of Oliver Hudson or Macaulay Culkin, thank you for listening and hopefully you stay. I thought that was brilliant because that's something I should have done when I first started.
Very nice touch.
Yeah, I think, you just gotta, I say that to people. I'm like, hey, listen, if you're here for this guy, great. I appreciate it. Thank you. If it's all you listen to and that's it, fine. But I hope if you like it enough that you'll say, hey, I want to hear this guy talk to some other people and get to know them and learn more and then see people open up. And so you hope that people do that. And you get some people that stick around and some people don't. Sometimes I'll have a guy like Jensen Ackles from Supernatural who will get 500,000 downloads. And I'm like, oh my God, if half of these people stayed, that would be unbelievable. And then they don't. They're off to the next thing that Jensen Ackles doing. So it's very difficult to maintain an audience, and it's taken time to do that. And I have a Patreon account that my patrons who join Patreon and support the podcast, they really keep the podcast afloat in many ways. I mean, they give back to the podcast. People like to give to it. They want to keep it going. It means a lot to them. And so it's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible.
I was thinking about doing that, but like when I started Reza Riffs, I was writing on Norm's podcast, and I kind of just did it where like it was like Norm wanted the episodes not about making money, but just be good and funny and interesting.
Yeah.
So like that's what I focus more on. Like I could honestly, it would be great if I had 1 million subscribers or whatever, but I really don't care. I just care about making the guests have fun, and because it makes me a better artist. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You want to have a good, meaningful conversation and get to know someone and see behind the curtain if possible a little bit, and just have an open, candid, nice conversation. Not, we see enough bullshit on the late night shows where they're like, hey, so you got a movie coming out.
Yeah.
It's like fucking Laugh Shack, it's like, they just want to get anything they can in 5 minutes, and that's fine. That's what they have to do. But I didn't want to do that.
Yeah. I think 45 minutes is perfect. Like yours and mine, we're in the same time lane, because it's enough to get to know somebody and to, you obviously fall in love with them and you fall in love with them.
Absolutely. I think that's the key. I think it's just like, I don't want to stick around too long. I don't want to wear out my welcome.
Yeah.
I want the guests to have a nice time and just, get to know me a little bit, and then they're out. And they're like, that's it? I'm like, yeah, that's it, man. I don't like to do more than that. I get too tired. I lose interest after a while. I mean,
you feel claustrophobic sometimes?
I do get a little claustrophobic. I get, I have anxiety. I deal with anxiety. I talk about that in the podcast, and I deal with depression and stuff. And, but like, it's, I always want to be great. That's my problem in life, is I always want to be great at everything. And you can't be great at everything. And sometimes it's okay to just be good enough. And so, when I interview people, like I was interviewing Judd Apatow, he was on my podcast last week, and he was fantastic. And, I remember taking some deep breaths and sort of like meditated for a little bit before and just said, hey, this is just a guy. I know you like his movies. Just go in there and have fun.
Yeah.
And when I had that mindset, I went in and I had a good time. I had a good time talking to him. I felt like a kid in a candy store, and we hit it off awesomely.
Yeah. I mean, I've never really had that problem of like, I don't get starstruck too easily. So like when I meet celebrities,
I don't either. I don't get really starstruck as much as I just get anxiety of wanting to be great at something.
Right.
Wanting to be great in the interview, wanting to ask questions that he doesn't hear all the time.
Yeah. Because you want them to say, hey, look, I committed my time for you. I want you to enjoy it. Right.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the more I have fun, the more I listen, which is a very tough thing for me in my life. I've learned that once I put those headphones on, it forces me to really focus. So I wear headphones, and I always ask my guests to. They don't have to, but it just forces me to just focus in on just hearing their voice, and that's all there is.
Right.
And it's, hyper focused. And it's the most focused I've ever been is interviewing people. And maybe that's why, people like it. Or
you're brilliant at it. Like, I think just by your interviewing skills, you could have your own late night show, because that's how good and lovely you are to the guests. You know what I mean?
Man, thank you so much. That's really sweet of you. I mean, I never thought of that. I mean, look, I never thought of doing a podcast, so I'm always up for whatever. But there's a lot of podcasts out there, and I'm always grateful that people, if they take the time to listen to mine for the week, that's one of their podcasts that they listen to. But whatever happens. If I do it forever, great. If I do it for another year, great. It's hard because I also get my own guests. Like I'm calling everybody to get, and it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to track people down and say, hey, you said you do this. Hey, you know how that goes.
Oh, dude.
Sure.
Oh my God. When I get like 5 no's in a row, I'm like, okay, let's take a break for a few months, because like, I I understand not everybody can say yes, but I also know like in my heart they would enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So
That's exactly right. I am enjoying it. This is fun. This is nice. It's like an open, just a candid conversation, man. That's what it's all about. It's like connecting. And but yeah,
but it's also easier because you and I are friends. So like, you know, it might be a little like when I interview people who I've never met, and then after the podcast we become friends. But like when I interview friends, then it's like it's a little easier, fast-paced combo.
Yeah, it's easier. Sure. I mean, when I don't know someone, like one guest I had on was really odd in a good way. I really loved him as a guest, but we didn't know each other at all, and it was a challenge for me. And it was Crispin Glover.
Oh my God, we love Chris. We actually talked about that. I thought that was a great one.
Yeah, he was really amazing, and he opened up and as much as he could, and but I when I don't know a guest, it's I think it's more difficult. You can't be as comfortable. You have to kind of be on it, kind of just be prepared to go in different directions. And not everybody talks a lot.
Yeah.
Some guests, you ask them a question, right, Alan, and all of a sudden they're like going, yeah. And you're like, oh shit, that's your answer? Yeah. What am I gonna do with it? Yeah, I got 50 minutes.
I'm glad you agree.
I'm glad you agree.
Now, when you interview people, do you because like I try and stay away from, I might hit some subjects people have heard again because I feel like no interview can go through that, but I try and work my way through that. When you do your research, do you try and do that too? But
listen, what I do is I'm telling you all my secrets now. Dude.
I know.
Go online and I kind of like do some research, and it's like, okay, everybody knows that. And it's just sort of a template.
Right.
It's, okay, I know where this guy's from. I know where this guy went. Sure. I know what he did. I know this, sure. And I know a few things. And you can always jump. It's almost like taking the subway in New York. You know that the F train stops at whatever, I don't know, 32nd Street or whatever. So if I'm not getting anywhere, I know, okay, let's go to this point right here. So you went to college at so-and-so, right? But in between, it's more in between all that shit is the sort of going on a tangent. Like if you say, hey, was your mom really supportive? Yeah. Was your dad? Well, my dad wasn't really around. Boom, trigger point. I'm like, well, what about where was your dad?
Yeah.
He's like, well, my dad wasn't around. He left us when I was 6. Oh my God, that had to be really difficult. I had my dad and it was difficult. And then you just sort of I inadvertently maybe show a vulnerability and like I try to be just a regular dude. And when they see that, they feel like they can open up a little more. And I think that's what happens.
Yeah, I think that's the key too. That's why I think yours is so great.
Oh, thanks. Cheers to you. Cheers. Inside of you is Michael Rosenbaum, guys. You can get it anywhere. Please subscribe. And if you like an episode, stick around.
Exactly. Is that a coconut Red Bull?
It's a coconut Red Bull. No, it's not a coconut. It's not coconut.
Oh,
wow.
It's the yellow edition. I don't know what it's called. It's the yellow edition.
Bummer. I was going to say.
I haven't had a Red Bull in a while, but I was like, I need a Red Bull. It'll pick me up. I need to give Keith some energy. I'm going to kick in. I'm going to go play tennis after this. I'm very excited to go play some tennis.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, you want to see something cool, Alan?
Yes, please.
This is a Funko Pop.
Yeah.
Michael Myers in the house.
Oh, sweet. I like that. Nice.
That's cool.
Very nice.
I'm a nerd.
Oh, you weren't kidding around.
Do you have a bubblehead of yourself?
I do. I have a Lex Luthor one, a Flash one. Somebody made me a Guardians of the Galaxy one, and they made me a Sorority Boys one, and a show that I did called Impastor.
Oh,
so they made me those, and they're pretty cool.
I'm gonna make you a neighbor one.
Oh, all bloody. Excuse me, on the floor and bloody.
Yeah, with a golf thing.
With a golf club, that's right.
So I I wanted to ask you about Back in the Day, because that was the movie that you wrote and you directed and you also starred in.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, like how is that process in writing something and then directing your own work so you could pull it how you wanted to do and then acting in it?
Well, it's funny because the backstory on that is I was about to go direct a movie called Sorry Is for Sissies. And it's about a guy who he's forced to go apologize to everybody he picked on in high school. And it's a really cool movie. And we were in prep, and 2 weeks into prep, I had the whole cast, a wonderful cast. At the time, I had Swartzen and John Heder, Colin Hanks, Seth Green.
Wow.
I said Swartzen. Who else was in there? Jennifer Love Hewitt. I had a ton of people, and I was going to be in that as well. And the funding, they lost funding. They lost they lost half of it. And we were screwed. And I was sitting there almost in tears, like I don't know what to do. And my director of photography said, "Do you have like a little movie or something like in your hometown we can go shoot?" And I had this old script that it wasn't a very good script. And I gave it a little polish and I sent it to this producer that I know. And she goes, "Hey, let's make this." And within 6 months, I was turning around and doing a different movie.
Wow.
Or within a couple of months. So, but it was one of those things where I just wanted to direct something. I wanted to just go and do it. And we had no money. We shot in the middle of Indiana with no tax break. I flew out all these actors, and it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do because, like you said, I wrote it, I directed it, produced it, and acted in it. And it was very, very difficult. And, but I had a great time and I got to work with some great people. And I always felt like if I could do this, I could do anything.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. It was just like I wore so many hats. We had 17 days to shoot 100 pages, figure it out. I mean, it's just an enormous undertaking. And it was just, I didn't think I could make it through it. I thought at one point, like the last week left, I thought I was going to die. I was so tired.
Right.
I was like this, Keith. I honestly, I was like, I should probably go.
You gotta get more of those Red Bulls.
Yeah, there you go.
I remember I was in the back seat. My friend Tom and Deneen were my assistants, and I hired them and paid them, and they just came and hung out with me pretty much. And they're driving me to work at 6 a.m. and I'm in the back seat, and Deneen's like, "It's a beautiful day," and I remember going. I remember saying this. And it was almost inaudible. I said, "I should probably go to the hospital." She goes, "You're funny." And if I would have said, "No, I need to go to the hospital," which I was thinking, to get like fluids or something, if she would have turned around and looked at me, she'd be like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" I was not okay. Everybody thought, they're like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I'm delirious. I'm like, so tired that I would rehearse something and then crash wherever I could, just walk out of the room and crash. And then I can't need to be in makeup. I'm like, I don't need makeup for this scene. I'm so fucking tired. I don't give a shit. I'll look like shit. I don't care. But the movie turned out fun. It was exactly what I wanted to make, a raunchy kind of Adam Sandler-esque film. And people really loved the movie. It's called Back in the Day. If you want to have a little throwback raunchy comedy, smoke a joint, watch this movie. I think you're going to really like it.
Are you trying to write something like that again to do another one?
Well,
not necessarily the same story, but like a movie.
Well, I've written a couple of series that we're trying to get made, TV shows, and I wrote. I'm a big horror movie fan, as I told you, and I'm trying to make. I wrote 2 horror movies with my writing partner, and we're trying to sell them. And one of them we're trying to get made with the same producer that made my movie back in the day. So, so if anybody has any money out there,
let's do it.
Let's do it. We don't need much, but we want to make this movie. It's called Deep in the Woods, and there's another movie called Subsidence, and we're trying to make both those movies. And we're getting a lot. Even people that have passed on the movie want to meet with us because they really love the script. It's just not for them, and so big companies are meeting with us. And it's a process. It's just very difficult to get a movie made. Everybody's doing Marvel movies, or they have this built-in system where they have their directors, they have their projects, and it's so hard to get a spec, a script sold or whatever. So The truth is you gotta do it yourself, folks.
Yeah.
You gotta do everything yourself. If you want to make a movie, you go make a movie. Don't rely on anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone. Go do it. That's it. I mean,
you could even do it on your iPhone.
You can do it on iPhone. We got cinema mode now. Look at this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got cinema mode. I'm gonna tape you in cinema mode.
Oh, hey guys.
There it is. There it is. We're cinema mode.
Nice.
Yeah,
you can
my
make it
screenwriting teacher said that romantic comedies and horror films are the easiest because they're the easiest to make because they're the cheapest to make.
Yeah. I mean, people make movies for $20,000, $60,000. Most of them are shit. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Most people but good for them that they make the movies.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, just do what you love. Make a movie. Who cares? You have the ability to do that with the iPhones, and you can there's always somebody that's going to want to work with you. Always someone who wants to make a movie. There's a lot of those people out there who are just trying to do everything they can to make a movie. So, it's anything's possible. I made a movie. I still can't believe it. I'd like to make another, but it's possible, man. Everything's possible.
I got two more questions, and I want to respect your time. One of them is actually a fast answer.
Sure.
So you were talking about Marvel's movies. You're in Galaxy of the Guardians 2, and they kind of made it seem like you could come back for the third one. Can you talk about that, or is that?
I'm not allowed to talk about anything. I was in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and I'm good friends with James Gunn, who's the director, and he's a sweetheart. And I can't really say anything. All I can tell you is it would be really cool to be in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and if I am, then hallelujah. But I can't tell you if I am in it or I'm not in it. I just have to.
All right.
I have to plead the fifth, unfortunately.
All right.
No problem.
And then my last question is, when you go on tour with your band, how long does it take you to write a song and to get it published? You want to sing it?
Well, I kind of was the guy who they sort of inadvertently, it led to me where I wrote all the songs.
Right.
The first album I was in a band called Left and Laurel, and I wrote all the songs, and we had 10 songs on the album, and no one else wanted to write any songs. And then I left the band and started another band called Sunspin with my friend Rob Danson. And Rob's really cool. He's just like, hey man, keep writing your songs, man. You know how to write songs, just keep. So I wrote 10 more songs for the next album. And then we have a new album, and I just wrote 14 new songs. And the process is just sort of like, whatever comes out of me. I mean, sometimes we'll just improvise a song. We'll just start riffing and playing guitar, and things will come out. And a lot of times that stuff stays in the song.
Yeah.
So it's just about, I love music. I love being in the band. I love playing for people. We're trying to get placement. We got placement in our last two albums. We got some songs put in TV shows, and we're hoping that this one's even better. I mean, can you hold on. Can you hear this?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah. Nice.
Friday night, you lost your self-control. Saturday, you left me all alone.
It's kind of like a Killer's feel.
Yeah.
Anyway, it starts rocking. It gets really heavy and stuff. And but I just love music. I love 80s. I love the 70s. I love the 90s. So our band's kind of a mixture of all that. We kind of like playing a little stuff that sounds a little 70s, some stuff that sounds 80s and 90s. And that's sort of what I gravitate towards.
And then I want to respect your time. So where can the folks at home follow and support you?
Well, I'm on the Instagram, folks. The Michael Rosenbaum. I'm on Twitter at they couldn't fit my fucking name on there, Alan. So it's just it's Michael Rosenbaum.
Wow.
And the podcast is Inside You with Michael Rosenbaum. It's on YouTube. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple. It's everywhere you get your podcast. Please have a listen. Give it a shot. If you don't like it, I get it. I'm on Patreon, patreon.com/inside of you. I'm on the Cameo. We do stage-its every month. If you go to sunspin.com, you can find out where we're playing music and all that shit. So, hey, if you wanna, yeah, I appreciate anybody who wants to take a shot.
Yeah.
Take a shot, roll the dice, hang out with me for an hour on my podcast. And
Nice.
yeah, so dude, this is great, man. This was so easy and fun. I like that you kind of just hang out.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's like I said, we did it at a studio and then COVID happened, so it's easier to get guests on Zoom, but sometimes I don't pay my internet bill.
But you get some good guests.
Yeah, but not as good as you, man.
Yeah.
You get some great guests though, man. Good for you. I might have to call you and snag some guests.
Go ahead.
My number, you got my number, man. Oh, that was my last question. Who's one person you wish you could interview that you haven't yet?
Keanu Reeves, Gary Oldman, Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill,
Mark Hamill. Yeah.
Daisy Ridley. Ooh.
All right.
I love Daisy Ridley.
All right. I'll get you Mark Hamill if you could get me John Cusack.
Cusack. I did a movie with Cusack, and I probably can't get a hold of him. He's a very private guy.
Yeah.
He's a private weirdo, I think. But I'm sure he's nice. I met him a couple times. He was nice to me. So,
Yeah.
He's definitely kind of in his own world, which is good for you.
Michael, I love you very much. Thank you for rifting with us, man.
Love you too. Thanks for having me, Keith. Alan, you're a joy. I love your glasses.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
He loves that you were late.
You were fucking late, Alan. But just let me know when this airs.
A couple weeks, yeah, I'll tag you and stuff.
All right. I love
Thank you,
you.
Michael.
Thanks, guys.
Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah,
Yes.
baby. Alan Lee.
All right, guys. That was the interview with Michael Rosenbaum. Subscribe, rate, review. Oh, man, that was fucking awesome, dude.
We had a great time. I feel like, you know what? I rushed here and I was a little tired. I had no Red Bull. No,
They have a gold Red Bull like you did.
Like at 2 p.m. and I'm all charged up like I had a Red Bull.
Yeah. All right.
Every time I'm dragging my feet, and you help me out, and I come and I make it, even at the last minute. You're my bud, and I tell you, I feel like I'm on a high now.
Well, stay in the Zoom because we have to do opening remarks because you were late. All right, guys. Subscribe, rate, review.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.